So, Zach, new studio installment for Skullfist and the title paid in full. So, guys, how do you feel about that?
A little tired, a little sore. I fell off my skateboard. That's how I feel.
Okay, your new album, Paid in Full, is due to be released in 2 days from now on 22 of April via Atomic Fire Records. What we are going to hear from you guys this time?
You're going to hear me trying desperately to sing high notes. Kicking myself in the balls or whatever I got to do in order to hit the notes.
And believe me, that's one high notes, believe me.
And then you'll clearly hear a drummer that wants to put drum fills every possible second. And a guitar player that clearly has ADD.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. Before this interview, I never heard of you guys. You got a new fan here. You know that?
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Okay, the thing that I like about you is that, how can I say it, vintage freshness that you have, if I'm going to say it like that. Straightforward music and, how can I say, I don't know what to do first. Headbang, raise my fist in the air, or start to jump. You
can do them all at the same time, man. It's like patting your belly and rubbing your head or whatever it is, right? It's like an aerobic workout.
Something that the press release said is something like that, and I believe I confirm that. It's like 70 Scorpions have the heavy metal treatment. That's awesome. How do you manage all this colossal power and energy channeled?
Well, I do a lot of sacrifices, so that's a huge part of. Sorry, man, I gotta give you an honest answer. When we were younger, vocally, people used to compare me to Vince Neil all the time, and they'd be like, "Oh man, you sound like Vince Neil," and in my head, I always thought to myself, like, that's not a compliment, bro. And but I hear people are lately been saying things about Scorpions on this new record, and it's a much nicer compliment because I would say that Scorpions definitely songwriting is, much more advanced than something like Motley Crue. So in a sense, it's, I appreciate it, man. It's nice to hear. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, realistically, it's like we're not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to make a certain thing or whatever. It's like you're just making songs, and it's like however the songs come out, that's just kind of how they come out. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's like it's not anything that someone thinks that the record is doing is probably unintentional. I just like making music,
Okay, also a straightforward artwork for the album. I have read the press release, as I said before, and I have to ask, does the title and the artwork mean something important for you guys? Because I have read the press release.
I've always been crazy. Yeah, so I just, I was always doing crazy shit when I was, up until the last couple of years, and I think the title mostly came from just personal experiences, I guess, and I think it's just not. You kind of just get tired of shit, you know what I mean? You get tired of dealing with people. You get tired of, bad scenarios, and so for that was just me saying, fuck this, all right, that's enough, man. I'm not doing this shit anymore. You know what I mean? I did my time. I went to a social and emotional prison. I'm not fucking going back.
I understand that. Okay. So as we spoke about artworks, I made a little research, and on the first two albums, Head of the Pack and Chasing the Dreams, there is a skull-shaped figure. Any chance of seeing him again? Does he have any name?
I always called him Lead. Originally, his name was Lead. Leadfoot. I think originally it was Leadfoot. I think it's like, I was pretty young when I started Skullfist, and a lot of it was just, you would say, like just she just coming up with whatever fun things that I thought were cool. I was like, fucking, I bought this Halloween decoration, and it was a big skull head. And this is like, I was like 18, 19 at the time, and I bought it from like a Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada, and it was cool looking. So what I had done was I just took a knife and I cut it open and made it into a helmet, like a hat, like something you put over your head. And we cut a hole in it in the front, and we used to drink a lot, so we would drink with it. You'd put it on your head, and you'd stuff beers through the hole in the mouth, and just chug. And it was just something we did for fun, fucking around. But at the same time, I was also starting to work. I started doing Skullfist at the same time. So I remember one of the first things that we did, a photograph for our MySpace back then, was it was just a photo of my buddy wearing that helmet, and I just took a picture of it and just put that on the internet. You know what I mean? I was like, that's Skullfist, fucking rah. And it honestly just progressed from there. And then there was a guy that I knew that did art. And before we had even released anything, he was always like, we had already done the demo, the No False Metal demo. And at that time, we hadn't really used like this Leadfoot thing. And we were just drunk. We came up with a funny story about what it was, the Leadfoot. Hey, Leadfoot was just, rambling on about making up garbage, basically. And this guy had made the art. He was making art before we had even released anything, because he was just a buddy and he liked the band, and we used to hang out and drink together. And on his own time, he'd just make funny art. And he made art out of that helmet guy. And we ended up being like, fuck yeah, all right, let's fucking do this. This is fun. And now we have something to do for art instead of like a picture of, a butt or something, So, so it was, I think it was just like almost like an accidental progression as we were going.
Okay. A few words about the recordings. Did you had any difficulties making the album? Any particular song that was tricky making it, or any funny story making the album?
Actually, yeah, there's this little tapping part in this song called Crush, Kill, Destroy. It's really quick, man. It's only like 15 seconds. And it's like two guitars just harmonizing like a tapping thing, but it's like an offset finger thing where you tap on the same finger that you're hammering on with. And I actually stole that idea from Ian from Cauldron when we were kids. I remember seeing him do that, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. And I had never done it up until recently. And yeah, that fucking man, Chris, the guy that was recording with us in the studio, man, he just sat there for like an hour while I tried to fucking do this thing properly. And it must have been a huge pain in the ass for him, man. So that was a bit annoying. And but the album, it was okay to record. Being in a studio is definitely a pain in the ass, because you got to sit there all day and just play guitar for all that long, and it sucks. But it was, it's typical. I think we recorded all the music in 5-6 days or something like that.
Okay, something that I'm impressed is the length of the album. We are living in a music industry that the more the tracks or the lengthier the album, the better. Paid in Full has 8 tracks, as the old days, and 33 and something minutes total album time. For me, it works. It's refreshing and not tiring, and it motivates me to hear the album many, many times. I go with no fatigue. What do you say about that? It's something intentional or something that came on the way, physically?
I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's 8 songs, I mean, 4 by 4, on a record.
Yeah.
And I like the uniform to it, It's got a 8, 4, and 4. It's neatly organized. 4 titles on this side, 4 titles. And I don't know. I just write it's like I'm just writing at my own pace, and I just didn't feel like writing any more songs. Honestly, I was just like, I remember finishing. I think the last song that I finished for a demo to give to the guys was I think it was that Crush Kill Destroy song. And I remember when I finished it, and I was like, I don't feel like writing any more songs. I just didn't want to write another. I have other songs, but I thought to myself, these songs fit together. I don't want to. All the other songs that I have, I don't think would fit. And so I just said, fuck it. That's what it is. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, if it were me, it's like I would rather do EPs, to be honest. I like EPs a lot better. I think 4 songs or 6 songs is great. If you got 6 good songs, I love that kind of stuff. And you can release them a lot quicker. Say you could release a 6-song EP once a year, but a full, 8 whatever song record, I feel like you almost do it every 2 years. Although we fucked that up piles of times. Something always happens with Skullfist in between records that delays recording the next record. So, but it's just, I don't know. It's like, a lot of people complain about that. They're like, it's too short. And I honestly, I don't care. I don't care.
I believe it's good.
Yeah, I don't
For
care.
me, it's good.
If that's then that's fine. Yeah,
because it's fresh. It's I can hear the album again and again and again and again, and then a little bit tired of the all long albums with 1 hour and a half.
Yeah,
songs.
I'm not into that either, man. I honestly I think I've listened to the full Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner 5 times in my life.
Okay, let's talk about the promotion videos now. The first videos for the promotion of the album were first the video "Long Live the Fist." My God, what a song! Then followed "For the Last Time." What made you to choose those specific songs for videos? Can we expect any more videos?
Yeah, we'll release another video on Friday with the album. And I'm actually supposed to upload it on the internet today and send a link to the label or something. But yeah, Long Live the Fist honestly was just, it's a pretty basic song. It's not, it's definitely not pushing the boundaries of songwriting in that one. It's more just a pounder song. And, but it kind of has all the elements of a Skullfist track, I guess. Like, I find it super, releasing singles, I find super obnoxious, because anytime you release the first song from an album, people are, you know what I mean? People just fucking jump all over that. And they're like, oh, this is what the album's going to sound like. And you're like, every song has different elements of stuff in it, I remember when we did Way of the Road, and it's funny because some of the heaviest tracks we ever wrote were on Way of the Road, and some of the mellowest tracks I ever wrote were on Way of the Road as well. So I remember releasing, I can't remember what song it was, but the first song was kind of a pounder. The second song I released was a mellower song. And a lot of people just fucking jumped on it, being like, oh, this next record is so mellow and I was just like, man, get out of here. So Long Live the Fist was just an easy track to release. And then For the Last Time, I wanted to do that one because I like the lyrics, although I don't think anybody even reads lyrics anymore. I have no idea, but...
Okay, I'm gonna take you now back to 2015 in the movie Deathgasm. Hour to Live and Bad for Good from the album Chasing the Dream was on the soundtrack of the movie. I have to know the backstory of all this.
I remember the guy who had made the movie, he emailed, asked if, to put Skullfist in one of his movies. And I don't mind doing certain things like that. Like, if it's something that I'm interested in and somebody wants to use a track, that's cool. Like, there's a handful of like a lower budget not Hollywood horror movies that have used Sculpus tracks before. So I had no problem. I was like, yeah, dude, go ahead, man, do your thing. And I was like, let me know when it's done, and I'll watch the movie. And he was a cool dude, nice guy from New Zealand. And when the movie came out, I was just checking updates, and I think he was updating me every once in a while. He had a really great soundtrack on there. He had a lot of cool bands. And I kept noticing that. I was like, oh shit, you know what? I hadn't seen the movie yet, and it was, every time I looked, it was always getting much, much more popular. And I was like, oh, fuck, good for this guy, man. Like, he must be so stoked, man. The guy's probably fucking, he's got a boner or something. He's like, yeah, fuck yeah, right? Because he did, and then when I finally did see the movie, they did a premiere in Toronto. So me, Casey, and my friend Sharon went, and, we hung out, and when he did the premiere, there was a lot of people there, and unfortunately for that guy, this is years ago, me and Casey were drunk as fuck. We were drinking, and he announced before the movie played. He came up with a microphone and just talked for a few minutes about the movie, and it was doing so well, and he was doing great with it. And so he was like kind of introducing the movie before people watched it, and he asked us to come down and say hi, and me and Casey were drunk, so we made complete idiots out of ourselves. And
Okay.
And we ended up getting drunk with him later on, and hanging out all night. And after watching the movie, I thought it was such a great movie. I was like, this is hilarious. It reminded me like of a funnier version of Trick or Treat. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Sammy Kerr and all that shit. It was a great one. I think he did a really great job. And I had no idea that he was going to make such a fun movie that lots of people were really into. So I'm totally psyched for the guy, man, because he's a really nice dude.
Okay, one question that I like to ask. Do you believe that the pandemic unintentionally made a new way of creativity for the artist, with so many collaboration and quarantine songs throughout those 2.5 years? I think that you can see the desperation in a lot of bands. Yeah.
A lot of guys love the attention, right? And a lot of guys get addicted to the attention. A lot of guys get addicted to the constant influx of people appreciating them, right? And when I was young, when I was in my 20s, man, like I did too, you know what I mean? Like I craved the attention of when I was younger, to an extent, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that over the last 2 years, man, some guys were dealing with it really well, of course, and just doing their thing and being like, fuck it, let's just make tunes or whatever it was, but I think it was pretty funny checking out. Sometimes you would see people just like fucking begging for attention, They're just, fucking give me something, hit like, comment on my whatever. And in truth, you know what I mean? Like there was times in which I felt like maybe I had nowhere to put anything. So I had done like some live streams, and I regretted them after because I felt weird afterwards and uncomfortable. But so I understand it, you know what I mean? I think it's, I don't know. I think it's like such a, the dynamics on how bands interact or market themselves, I guess is the word, is such a long topic. I think it's like, I kind of just stopped paying attention to it a while ago, but it is a long topic, you know what I mean? So it's like some guys were dealing with it really well, some guys were having a hard time, and you can definitely tell the difference, But I mean, it is what it is, though. Like guys have to try and figure out a way as well. Like, not to shit on it there, guys have to try and figure out a way to continue the thing, and especially for the guys that do this as a job. You know what I mean? There's guys in bands much bigger than Skullfist, and they do this for their job, and they need fucking, you know what I mean? When they cut their income from touring, like they fucking gotta, you know what I mean? And I'm sure a lot of them are like, fuck, like I gotta do live streams and shit, you know? It's like, but I imagine, you know, it's a unique situation, man. Like some guys had it really shitty, you know, and I don't blame them for doing whatever they could do to try and keep the attention. Although I think a lot of guys released a lot of really good records that kind of went unnoticed.
As we talked about the pandemic, what are the plans for tours now that we have vaccinations and the first heavy metal tours are starting to get announced?
Well,
Do you believe that these tours will be done, or we will have many cancellations on the way?
Well, I just read this article the other day that said, who's the guy from Windows again? What's his name? Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
Yeah, so I just read that Bill Gates put computer chips and tracking devices in vaccinations. So I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
And I know that the lizard people are planning a takeover of Earth soon. So I gotta wait and see what's gonna happen with that. And I also just read an article that birds are not real. They're actually they're drones from the U.S. government. So you know what I mean. We gotta be careful out there. I honestly don't know. I think at the moment it seems like it's a debate between is life normal or is life not normal, and anything else, you know, it's like we just canceled a tour. We had a tour booked for May. You know what I mean? So I'm in that boat of canceling things still. So it's hard to say, right? You know, some people were really offended that I canceled the tour. I've seen one guy on the internet called me a coward. Son of a bitch. So it's debate, right? It's like maybe the virus thing and where it's at now may not be as bad as it was originally, you know. But at the same time, for me personally, I can't get sick on tour. I can barely sing as it is. I've had multiple surgeries on my voice, you know. It's like I can't fucking go out there and get sick and then fucking fuck all my shit up, you know. So but it's hard to say, you know what I mean? It's such a debate. It's such a huge debate on whether or not things are normal and whether or not they aren't normal, you know what I mean? And I understand most points of view on it, whether it's opposite ends to each other. I mean, it's fucking fairly convoluted or something, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Some guys are doing it. Some guys don't give a shit. They're going out and they're fucking going. And that's good for them, man. You know, I'm happy for them that they're fucking doing that. Everyone has their own limits on what they consider acceptable and what they consider not, you know? And so some guys won't do it. Some guys will. I mean, I canceled that tour for May because if I lost a lot of gigs on that tour, we'd be fucked financially. You know what I mean? I cancel fucking 5, 6, 7 shows. I'm screwed, you know? Yeah. I'm coming home way more broke than I am already. So it's hard to say, right?
Yeah. Okay, some more generic questions, and it's a little bit more of a hard questions in a way. So, which bands do you believe influenced Skullfist? With which bands you grew in a way?
I don't know. I've just been trying to steal riffs from other bands. So lately, I've just been stealing ideas from Enforcer. Just stealing. Just listen to their old records and see if I can steal any riffs or something. Okay, if I play that riff backwards, I can call it my own. That'd be awesome. It would be easier that way if you could. I don't know. I mean, I listen to lots of music. It's like I don't listen to as much heavy metal at the moment. I think I've been listening to a lot of old rock lately, the last couple of years. Trying to mellow out. If I listen to, if I listen to fucking super heavy stuff or something, there, I'm gonna get too mad, or I'm gonna be in my basement, yelling at my wall or something. So I think, I don't know. I think there's like, it's not so much bands. It's like just certain. I don't know. I think it's maybe shit you're thinking about. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's probably what affects Skullfist stuff the most, or like songwriting mostly. It's just like things that are on your brain. If it's good stuff, you write nicer stuff. If it's annoying stuff, you write more angry or desperate type stuff. It's hard. Like I said, I don't like. I mostly listen to those fucking, those fucking things you find on YouTube. It's like 3 hours of a fucking classical guitar over top of a stupid waterfall or something. I spend a lot of time listening to those, because they're pretty mellow, and it's like I wish I could be a monk or something.
Okay, what other bands are you listening to this time around?
I just finished going through. I was going through Kansas, a couple Kansas records recently. That was the last thing. Tom Waits. I went through his albums years ago, but I've been listening to a couple of his records over. Kate Bush a lot too. She has this album called Lionheart, and I was listening to that a lot. And I usually listen to that while I'm like exercising or something. And what else did I listen to? Styx. I was on a Styx craze, although I went through their records years ago. I was again listening to them for a little while. I probably listened to Come Sail Away like 20 times in like 3 days. That was about a couple months ago. Like I'm sailing away. And love that song. Yeah, a lot of that. I've been mentally thinking about. I've been drumming, so I've been trying to do that fucking Rain and Blood song as fast as shit on the goddamn feet. So I practice that sometimes, just trying to keep my kicks up a little bit. And so I haven't been listening to Slayer, but for some reason I've been thinking about him. Like I just have like when we were recording the last video we did, I just kept playing the riff for the song "The Antichrist." It's off Show No Mercy, I think. Yeah, and I don't know. So that's basically it.
Any memories from the first time you went on stage?
As Skullfist?
As any time you pick.
The first time I went on stage was in high school. We played one of those school performance things, Like, I don't know what it was. We played a song that I wrote with my old band, and we played Paranoid by Black Sabbath. I wasn't singing at the time. It was my friend singing. And when I was young, I wanted to be a songwriter. I didn't want to play lead guitar. I didn't really care about lead guitar. And so I wanted to write songs. That was my main thing. And the guy that was playing the lead guitar was a great guitar player. We were like 15, 16, but he was a great fucking player. And I remember after we had played the concert, it was funny to realize how nobody cared about the song that we wrote. And I remember thinking how nobody cared about that song. They only cared about the cover song, Black Sabbath song, which of course is going to happen in a sense. And they only cared about the lead guitar player. They didn't give a shit about me. And I remember thinking in my head, like, I was a kid, and I was trying to build myself an ego. And I remember thinking, like, man, like, I wrote the song and nobody cares, man. They just care about the guy doing these flashy pentatonics. And I remember, but it was still fun, though. It was still a good time. But it was just something that I had realized, that actually something that I noticed even to this day, I still notice, is that, like, I think for the most part, very few people care about things like lyrics, you know what I mean? Like for me, lyrics is always like one of the most important things. And over the years, I realized that, like, I guess in this genre or whatever, it's like a lot of people don't really care about lyrics. So I was always surprised by that.
Any memories from the worst or best show you had? Any funny moments?
There's
Too many to count.
Well, there's lots of funny moments, I mean, for sure. I remember in Brazil, somebody stealing my shoe. That was funny. Didn't get it back. Didn't get it back until way later. So I played 30 minutes on stage with one shoe. That was funny. But I mean, we used to be so stupid all the time. So I think 40% of the concerts we played either were terrible and then 60% of them were really good, So we had a pretty bad turnaround rate back then. It was hit or miss, And so, but there was lots of funny things, man. There was always lots of fun concerts. And we did a lot of silly stuff that there's a lot of interesting and unique memories from. And, a lot, on both sides. And although I think it was like, I wouldn't change it, you know what I mean? It is what it is, right? And I think, I don't know, it's hard to say, right? It's like, there's so many little things that we've done over the years. And we played this show where it was just something relaxing and funny that's not too offensive. We played this concert in Brazil once, and somewhere in South, I think it was Brazil. And instead of a banner, they had this giant screen that they were going to put the band logo on, right? Like kind of like a what do you call it? Like those projector screens.
Yeah.
And they didn't want us to put the flag up. They wanted us to use a projector screen. So right before the concert started, right before we got on stage, the photo that I put, instead I changed the photo from the logo, and I found a photo on our old Facebook page. And it was just a photo of Casey drunk as shit, trying to eat a burrito. And he's like, God, he just looks fucking fucked. He looks like a homeless guy. And that was the banner for the whole concert. And it was like 30 by 30 feet. And people were laughing their ass off. And when Casey came out and seen it, he was like, oh, you fucking dick. And then he had to play the whole concert like that. I mean, he thought it was hilarious, too.
Okay. Something that you regret throughout your career?
Oh, man, I could fucking... How many hours you got? You want to turn this into a fucking novel? Let's do it. It's a podcast at this point. Okay. You're gonna lose a lot of viewership though. Jesus Christ, this guy won't stop bitching. Nah, I mean that's okay. Everybody has regrets, Everybody fucked up at some point.
Have you ever been to Greece?
Yeah.
What do you believe?
I haven't been there in a long time. We've been there twice. I haven't been there in years. Last time we were there, we played Thessaloniki.
Yep.
And Athens. And I remember the first time we went there, we played up the Hammers, and I got so fucking drunk. I got the next, not drunk. I got me and this guy got mangled on that fucking ouzo. Jesus Christ, that shit is dirty. Oh yeah, man, we got destroyed on that. And we got so drunk we started crying together. I don't even know why. It was not like a sad thing. We weren't complaining. We just fucking were so hammered. We just got just some guy in Athens. I didn't think I'd seen that guy ever again. Got so drunk talking about music, we just started crying about how awesome we loved music. And that was one of the next day, that was one of the funniest things in my head. I was like, I got so shit-faced with a guy I just met. We fucking cried and hugged for like an hour. And there was a couple of guys standing a bit further from us, like 15 feet away, and they were just watching this shit. And they were probably like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with these guys, bro? Like, these guys are fucked. And it was a really fun. Up the Hammers was great. That was one of my genuine times in touring.
One last message to your fans.
Which ones? In Greece?
All
Or
of
in
them.
general.
All of them in general.
Last message. I'm trying to think of something funny here. Give me a second.
Okay.
Think of something good. Stop sending me drunk voice messages on Instagram. No, I'm just kidding. You can keep doing that. So no, it happens. I got a couple of guys that in Europe, they get fucking shittered. And then I wake up in the morning and there's like 5, 6 voice messages, just them shitter drunk. Hey, I'm listening to Skullfish. Fuck you. But I'm just kidding. It's really entertaining. It's fucking great. I like that kind of shit. It's like I think I think that it's the guys that have been around for a long time listening to Skullfest. There's a bunch of guys that like really I feel like they're not fucking, I don't say the word fans and shit. It's weird as shit. Like they're just dudes that we're kind of like, it's like we're on the same like fucking mental spot. You know what I mean? Where it's like sometimes dudes know exactly what's going on. Like they feel the same way that I do. And I really like it when I meet people that like really feel the same way I do about a lot of stuff, because I'll hear from them for years. I'll hear from them every time I see them. I hang out, and we don't get shit faced drunk anymore. We just talk, and I fucking love that, man. It's like sometimes I finish a concert and I talk to somebody for a couple hours, and I'm like, I wake up in the morning, and I'm like, that guy's fucking cool, man. I like that guy.
Zach, thank you very much about this interview. Keep the faith, guys.
Yeah, buddy. I mean, hopefully we can get back to Greece sometime and see what happens, man. I would love to go back there. You guys are all insane.
As I said, you have a new fan here, and why I'm not having interviews like that anymore? Believe me.
Wow, it's hard, right? Because like you got to be a little bit serious, but you can't be fucking too serious,
Yeah, that's right.
Man.
That's right.
Like, guys ask you like, hey, what's your new album about? And they're like, I was writing about the intricacies of the generalized population in a love con. You're just like, dude, shut up. You're not a fucking philosopher, man. You're just some dick writing songs. As I am also just some dick writing songs. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not shitting on you. I'm just saying, there's not a whole lot. I'm not fucking Bob Dylan. Like this isn't some Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds shit. It's all pretty basic.